Hello, everybody. It feels like it's been one of those weeks. I don't know what it's been like at your end, but it feels like everybody has been saving up staff issues for weeks. It's been queue in the office, and then, oh my goodness, a huge deluge. It's like, is it the weather? Because it's got cold. Everybody's gone, I think we need to sort this thing out that's been going on for 8 months. I don't know. Anyway, so what I wanted to start off talking about, AWOL. So if one of your staff doesn't turn up, if they are under 2 years, and particularly if they are under sort of 3 months service, you can send them a message saying, if we don't hear from you by tomorrow afternoon, preferably a message, WhatsApp, text, then we'll assume you've resigned with immediate effect. Okay. If you can, and it's legal, you can in the first month just terminate somebody. And we've had 2 instances recently, because in your contract, I say just terminate, in your contracts, we strongly recommend that in the first month of service, it's instant notice on both sides. Okay. Now, if somebody doesn't turn up for 3 shifts in 6 days, you should be looking at terminating them. Okay. And it's then about, do you know if there are any protected characteristics? It's the classic. Do we know why they're off? We don't want, in the nicest way, we don't really want to know why they're off. We'd rather not know about any mental health issues. So if we don't know about any protected characteristics, we can just dismiss. We do not have to go, well, it might be mental health issues. If we don't know that, we don't need to take that into consideration. Okay. So you can just terminate them with immediate effect and pay them for whatever work they've done. I'm going to say if it's in the first month, there's not going to be a lot of holiday to pay out either. But if they have a holiday after that, you're supposed to pay it. With everybody who's been with you a little bit longer, you need to, but certainly still under those 3 months, and usually under 2 years, we would be sending them the messages via WhatsApp, text, trying to reach them by phone, sending them emails to their private email address. Always make sure you've got their private email address for every employee, okay, so that you can communicate with them that way as well. So when they start with you, gather that information saying you need to respond by 5 o'clock tomorrow, or we will assume you've resigned with immediate effect. Okay. And then when they don't respond, you can then send out, we accept your resignation with immediate effect, and this is what you'll be paid. That's it. That's really straightforward. You don't need to go through more of a process. You do need to go through more of a process if they have over 2 years service. Okay. Because you can't assume the resignation. I know sometimes I feel a little bit gung-ho about this, depending on the person, okay? But actually, we need to do it as gross misconduct. So you need to respond by 5 o'clock tomorrow, or you will be subject to disciplinary proceedings. And in all these cases, we will provide you with letters. Don't worry about that. But you still need to do the contact by text, WhatsApp, phone, email, and to try to show that you have tried to contact them, and then they come back to you, and hopefully they will come back to you, and then we can sort it out. But if they don't come back to you after that 5 deadline, then we would be inviting them to a disciplinary process, and we would go through the motions. It's a little bit of a faff over 2 years, because we do have to go through the motions of an investigation meeting, inviting them, and then disciplinary hearing. Now, they might show up at some point, in which case, again, they would go through that disciplinary process, or they might not. You might not hear anything from them. What we have found in the past 20 years is that they either come back to you really quite quickly, certainly within 24 hours, or they don't come back to you for months. Okay. So there's very rarely anybody who only comes back once they're actually terminated. It's that it comes back long later, and most of them, not all of them, but most of them have been because they've been in prison and they didn't want to tell us. And it's like, okay, so could I have my job back? No, you can't have your job back. Thank you very much. So just to be aware, you've got to contact them, no matter what their length of service is. But if they're under 2 years, it's going to be easier because we don't have to go through a process. We're just going to assume resignation with immediate effect, and you pay them for the days they've actually worked, okay? And that's it. Over 2 years, we do have to go through the steps of a gross misconduct dismissal. And if they get in touch at any point, we would then make a decision about what we wanted to do. But it's just making sure that you do that, because we've had quite a few recently where people have come to us 5 or 6 days after the person's been off, and they still haven't turned up. It's like, we could have resolved this by now. Call us on the first day if you've not heard anything by the end of the first day, or suppose first thing on the Tuesday. You've sent this out, they've not responded immediately. Great, what are the next steps? We can get it sorted easily within a week, usually within a couple of days. Okay, but you don't need to let it drag on if they've not turned up. But you do need to absolutely get in touch with them, and don't say, oh, but it's their responsibility to get in touch with us. Yes, I know that, but you want to be able to take action. So you need to try and contact them if you want to take action. Okay. Are there any questions so far? There was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember now. So I just wondered if there was any questions. Tony, you look like you might have a question.
Oh, I have got a question, yes.
Right.
Yeah. It was just with regards to sick pay.
Yeah.
One member of staff that was missed 11 shifts. Now, our policy is we don't pay sick pay at all, other than SSP if required. Obviously,
yeah.
SSP. But we've since realised, just doing the wages calculations this month, that she's got quite a lot of annual leave left.
Right.
Could she use some of that? I think I might have asked this question before, but I'm getting old, so you'd have to ignore. Forgive me. Could she utilise some of that rather than taking 9 days off in December?
I would prefer it to not be instead of the SSP. I would prefer it to just be paid out. To say you are on holiday for this amount of time.
Even though she was off, she missed 11 shifts, so we could pay her for those 9 shifts then.
Yes, you can do it. You can go to her and say, would you like to use your holiday entitlement to cover this absence? Absolutely.
Yeah, rather than not get paid. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but just still keep a record, which you
of what we've done.
But of the sickness and what the reasons were, because that's what we'll need if we need to deal with the sickness.
Sure. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Melanie, everybody behaving themselves? No?
You know I'm up to my eyeballs with them at the moment.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Yes, I know. It's been one of those weeks for you as well. Absolutely.
It has been one of those weeks.
It must be the weather or something in the water. I don't know what it is. Really.
Yeah, it's keeping me as busy as it's keeping you. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Mark Gallop, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just following on from sort of Tony's question on sick pay. So if someone's on a 0-hour contract, due to work, then appears with a self-certificate, how much do you pay them? How much are they entitled to? Okay,
the whole question is worrying me now, Mark. So people would be paid in accordance with the SSP. So SSP is you have to earn over £123 a week to over 8 weeks average, well, minimum of 8 weeks average, to qualify for SSP. Okay, that's one of the things the government's going to change in April 26th, that actually it's going to be from day one and you don't have the lower earnings level that you have to get to. But at the moment, when you put into your payroll system, that's the easiest way, to be honest, put in the payroll system that they're off sick for these times. That's when it will say, yes, they meet the SSP criteria and you therefore pay them the £116 a week, or they don't meet the criteria, in which case you don't have to pay them anything. Yeah?
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I think they do meet the criteria. I just wondered, with it being 0 hours, that just sort of actually, it's almost like them turning around and saying, I can't work. Actually, I was sick.
Well, the point being, if they've earned enough money in the time they have been working, then they do get a paid SSP. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and the other one I'm on there. So the holiday, that new spreadsheet, the 5.6 or 12.07.
12.07%.
Yeah. Is there a maximum? Is it not capped at a full timer of 40 hours a week?
It is capped at a full timer of 40 hours a week.
So if you're a casual person or you're a part-time person who's on sort of 30-ish hours contract or 30 hours contract, but 1 week works 50 and next week works 30 things away, how do I count that 50 hours, or do cap that at 40?
Oh, okay. So if you're looking to see whether they'd have gone over, you have to look at the whole year. You can't look at it even on a month-by-month basis. So they might have been doing more in the summer or more at Christmas, but the other times of the year they're earning less. So if you would just go, what did they get paid out for holiday over the past, or what hours did they earn over the last 52 weeks? This is not the calculation. This is just to show you how much they've actually earned. Is like have they been working, in fact, a full-time role? If we take 52 weeks into consideration, okay, so did we actually pay them 28 days holiday? But nobody is supposed to earn more than 28 days, or that's a statutory minimum. Yeah. But you can't earn on top of that. But 0 hours workers, casual workers, usually don't earn more than that. But you don't need to worry about, it's 50 hours this week. Oh, should I just cap it at 40 hours that I pay out? Because the other week they're earning less, and some weeks they're earning nothing. So you just pay it out based on that 12.07% times 50 to find out the hours you pay out. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Right. There was something else. I thought I just talked about it, actually. We're having quite a few people coming to us saying they're wanting to do restructuring. And they don't actually want to do restructuring. They actually just want to fire people who were over 2 years. But, you can't just fire people over 2 years. They were having lots of conversations trying to convince them that they should do settlement agreements. And some people are more adamant that their restructuring is definitely totally legal and couldn't possibly be challenged in court. And you get to a certain point where you're like, sure, you go and talk to a barrister and say that that's absolutely fine, because I don't think it is. And I've told you that 3 times in 3 different ways. So there you go. It's always good. Always fun to talk to people who know more HR than you do, even though they've never studied it. So that's good. The other thing that's come up is making sure that the people you have in your admin, your back office, that they are, and this shouldn't be a big thing, but it came up that there was somebody who's gone off with cancer now, and they've discovered that they were the office manager at a golf club, and they've discovered that all the things that they thought were happening were not happening. People were not being chased for payment. There's a huge sort of monies owed in the golf club because, subs have not been chased, even though somehow the treasurer hasn't spotted that this money is missing. And it's making sure, again, we come back to the people being off for 2 weeks on holiday consecutive every year, making sure that everything that is happening is definitely happening. Sort of show me evidence that you've done that, which sounds very micromanaging, but in certain areas you need that. If it's about monies that are owed to the golf club, you have to go and check that it's there. You don't go to somebody and say, has it been done? And they say, oh, yeah, we're fine. Go and look at what is in the bank and what is owed and what's on Zero or Sage or whatever, and check that's there, as well as the old chestnut of health and safety. If health and safety is not being done by anybody who's responsible, such as particularly head greenkeepers or general managers or head chefs, those are the 3. It's usually head chefs and head greenkeepers who are the problem. That is a gross misconduct offence. And the general manager is the one who is going to be done for corporate manslaughter. So that's just going straight in the deep end with the darkness there. You need to make sure it's being done. If it's not being done, that is a disciplinary. If it's still not being done, that is a potential dismissal. And that is a solid dismissal, health and safety infringements. You need to make sure it is being done and kept up to date. Risk assessments are being reviewed. Training is being done. Head greenkeepers are infamous for not making their staff wear PPE because they're like, oh, well, it's kind of uncomfortable and it's up to them. It's not up to them. They have to wear PPE. You do not want to be responsible for limbs being severed by streamers and everything like that, or people being run over. You've got to make sure that health and safety is up to date and stays up to date, and get somebody external in to audit that once a year, twice, once every 2 years, something, so that you can see that, because you need to make sure that it's not going to come back and bite you. And on a more negative note, if you want to part company with one of those people, this is a really easy way to negotiate out of it. You still do a settlement agreement, but we'll be saying it's gross misconduct, negligence, therefore we're only giving you X amount and not Y amount. So it makes that conversation a lot quicker because they know they're about to go through a disciplinary process. Okay? So it's just to be just to be aware of that when you're doing it. I think that's probably it for today. We are like Mel, we're under the cosh at the moment. Like I said, there's a lot of females, and that's why Nadia's not on here, because she's dealing with that at the moment. Yeah, and it's and I'm off to Thailand, and I will be back in the week starting the 16th of December. I will be thinking of you all for at least 30 seconds once I get on the plane, and yeah, but the team are going to be here looking after you. And I hope you have a lovely time. I hope people behave themselves as we get to Christmas. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was a Christmas thing. Sexual harassment. Captain's Christmas meals. Do not let them do French kissing on the female bar staff. Okay? I'm just saying, you get Christmas, you get alcohol. It's not the staff that are usually the problem. The staff, it is the captains who are like, oh, you're so lovely. Hug, kiss. It's like, oh my God, no. I'm going to say, if it's past presidents, past captains, past anybody who was an authority, you need to try and get just male staff dealing with it. You will have a lot less complaints, okay? And if you have anybody who is under 18 serving, you need to make sure they stay on the other side of the bar. They do not come round to be accosted by somebody giving them a hug, okay? Because much as it's fun doing these sexual harassment cases, it would be nice if we could get through to the beginning of January without having to do 3 dozen of them, okay? That would be lovely. So I'm just saying, let's try and manage it. Let's just assume the worst is going to happen. What can we put in place to stop it happening? And then everybody can have a nice experience without any females in tears saying he stuck his tongue down my throat. It was disgusting. And we have this every year. It doesn't get any better. So, just you don't have to tell the captains not to do it. I appreciate that is a contentious thing, but put stuff in place to keep people safe from being accosted by guys who think that they are George Clooney or, I don't know, a young Brad Pitt. Just show my age here. I appreciate younger people have no idea who I'm talking about. But you know what I mean? They still think they're really attractive and they just want to give this lovely lady a hug. And it's like, yeah, but the lovely lady doesn't want to be hugged. Okay, she's paid to be here and to smile at you. That's it. So if you could just get something in place to protect your staff, that would be great. Okay? And end of that. Have a lovely time, and I will see you in December. Take care.
Thanks for watching. If you want a free tribunal audit of your employment contract and handbook, click the link in the description below.